Welcome back. This is Brian from W3 Woodworking. This video is a little longer than my normals because there's so much to cover. So the topic is lacquer versus polyurethane. I've used polyurethane for years and love the product. However, on something like this, take a look at this product here. What the challenge I have with polyurethane is you occasionally have brush marks. Now, on some projects, in here you would never notice it, but over top of this blue river here, any brush marks will ruin the product. So I sanded all the polyurethane off and I decided I was going to spray it with lacquer. Okay, so what's the advantages? On polyurethane, every time you spray one, you have to sand in between coats and you have to wait about an hour to 2 hours to do that. With lacquer, the general consensus is you do not have to sand between each one. And on this project, I sprayed every 10 minutes a new coat. So that's a big time savers. The downside to lacquer is that you have to wear a mask. It's very toxic and you can't spray it inside because it's extremely flammable. So that's the downside. So let's talk about what it takes to set up a sprayer. I have a compressor. Now you can go online and buy these what they call turbine sprayers. They're anywhere from $200 all the way up to $2,000. But since I already have a compressor that I use to build this shop, I decided to use that. Now, when you're thinking about a compressor, some can spray paint, some can't. You need to check the qualifications on your particular compressor because you don't want it to be cycling through while you're spraying. So enough said about that. I have the right size compressor. I bought this particular gun. So a couple things. This gun works most efficiently at about 25 PSI. So I got this gauge to make sure that that restricts the pressure coming into this. This piece here makes sure that no water comes from the compressor into this gun, okay? So there's some other features on this, but I don't want to go through the whole thing right now. You can look at your manual. So now that you got the gun set up, the next question is, what lacquer do you pick? Viscosity is the most critical part of it. So think of viscosity as a difference between syrup and water. The margin in between that, that's a critical piece. If you don't get the viscosity correct for the lacquer that you choose, when you spray on this, you'll get what they call orange peel, okay? Orange peel could be caused by many factors, but most probably it's the viscosity of the lacquer. So here's an example. This is the lacquer I chose, and if you look on the back, it says it only can be brushed on. So I asked several people, can I spray this? And he said, yes, you can. You're just gonna have to cut it because it's too thick. So they told me to put 20% lacquer thinner in it. I put that in, mixed it in a separate jar, and then when I put it in the gun, always remember to use these filters to make sure nothing foreign gets in there. Because remember on this sprayer here, the lacquer's coming out the middle here, and the air's coming out from the side. It's atomizing, and that's how you spray. So when you start off the project, and you spray across, and you do this back and forth. I went pretty slow to have this done, but I'm telling you what, I think it came out extremely well. Now, you can do it a cheaper way and not use the gun by using these small cans, but I tell you what, it's pretty expensive if you're really gonna get into spraying lacquer. So bottom line, I would say this, polyurethane, I like it, but you have to wait between coats and you have to sand. Even if I sprayed it, I'd have to sand in between it. Lacquer looks great. Take a look at this. It looks absolutely incredible. You just gotta concern yourself with the fumes. They're very toxic and you have to wear a mask. Even when you're mixing it, make sure to wear a mask. Again, this is Brian from W3 Woodworkings. Please check the links below and have a great week.